What if I told you that the secret to building strong, healthy muscle after 60 is sitting right there in your pantry for less than What if everything you thought you knew about protein was completely wrong, and the answer to maintaining your strength and independence as you age had nothing to do with expensive supplements or complicated meal plans? Here's my promise to you today. By the end of this video, you're going to discover how one humble food can revolutionize your health, save you hundreds of dollars every month, and give you the energy and vitality you thought were gone forever. We're going to dive deep into the latest scientific research that's turning the nutrition world upside down, and I'm going to show you exactly how to harness this incredible discovery starting today. The food I'm talking about is beans. Yes, simple, everyday beans. And before you click away thinking this is too good to be true, let me share something that will absolutely blow your mind. The latest research from major universities reveals that beans can effectively build and maintain muscle in adults over 60, matching those expensive protein powders at a fraction of the cost. This finding challenges decades of conventional wisdom and offers hope to millions of older adults struggling with muscle loss on fixed incomes. You see, the key isn't in the source of protein at all. It's about understanding how aging changes our nutritional needs and how to optimize plant proteins for maximum benefit. And when I show you the science behind this, you're going to wonder why nobody told you this sooner. Let me paint you a picture that will change how you think about protein forever. When most people think of high-protein foods, they immediately picture a chicken breast or a steak. But here's what will surprise you. Soybeans pack more protein per serving than that chicken breast you've been spending your hard-earned money on. We're talking about 31 grams of complete protein in just one cooked cup of soybeans. That's more protein than you'll find in a 4-ounce piece of chicken. But soybeans aren't the only superstars in the bean family. Lentils come in at a strong second place with almost 18 g of protein per cup. Then you have your everyday heroes like black beans, kidney beans, and chickpeas, each delivering around 15 g. These aren't just numbers on a page. These are real muscle-building powerhouses that have been right under our noses this whole time. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Most people have heard the old myth that plant proteins are somehow incomplete or inferior. Let me set the record straight once and for all. While it's true that most beans are slightly lower in an amino acid called methionine, they're absolutely loaded with lysine. And guess what? Grains like rice are high in methionine, but lower in lysine. It's like nature designed them to work together perfectly. When you combine beans with rice or any whole grain, you create a complete protein profile that matches or even exceeds meat in quality. This isn't some new age nonsense. This is basic biochemistry that cultures around the world have understood for thousands of years. Think about it. Rice and beans in Latin America, lentils and rice in India, hummus and pad in the Middle East. These combinations didn't happen by accident. But here's what makes beans absolutely special for those of us over 60. They're not just delivering protein. Every single cup is like a multivitamin that you can actually enjoy eating. We're talking about up to 15 grams of fiber that supports your gut health and reduces inflammation throughout your body. You're getting almost half of your daily magnesium needs, and magnesium is absolutely crucial for proper muscle contraction and function. The B vitamins and beans, especially folate, support the protein metabolism that becomes less efficient as we age. 1 cup of black beans gives you 70% of your daily folate requirements. And then there are the antioxidants, these powerful compounds called anthocyanins that fight the oxidative stress that damages our muscles as we get older. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. What about digestibility? It's true that plant proteins typically show 70 to 90% digestibility compared to 95 to 99% for animal proteins. But here's the beautiful thing about this. With simple preparation methods like soaking overnight and pressure cooking, you can reduce those natural compounds that interfere with digestion by up to 90%. When you prepare beans properly and eat enough of them, they absolutely match animal proteins for muscle building. Let me share something with you that most doctors don't explain clearly enough. After we hit 50, we start losing muscle mass at a rate of about half to 1 in 12% every single year. This isn't just about looking fit or feeling strong. though those things matter too. This muscle loss, which scientists call sarcopenia, directly affects our ability to live independently as we age. Think about it this way: every pound of muscle you lose makes it harder to get up from a chair, climb stairs, carry groceries, or catch yourself if you stumble. Muscle loss is directly connected to increased fall risk, disability, and even earlier death. The good news is that this isn't inevitable. With the right nutrition and some basic resistance exercise, we can not only stop muscle loss, but actually reverse it. Here's where the science gets really fascinating. Researchers have discovered something called anabolic resistance. Basically, as we age, our muscles become less responsive to protein's muscle-building signal. A 30-year-old might get maximum muscle-building benefits from 20 grams of high-quality protein at a meal, but someone over 60 needs 30 to 40 grams per meal to get that same muscle-building effect. There's a specific amino acid called leucine that acts like a trigger for muscle protein building. Younger adults need about 1 g of leucine per meal, but we older adults need 2 to 2 g of to flip that same switch. Now here's where beans really shine. While they contain slightly less leucine than something like whey protein powder, research shows that when you increase your total plant protein intake to the right levels, you completely overcome this difference. Let me give you some real numbers. If you weigh 54 liber, that's about you'd need somewhere between 84 and 112 g of protein daily for optimal muscle building. That might sound like a lot, but with beans as the foundation of your diet, it's absolutely achievable and much more affordable than you might think. The timing of when we eat protein matters more as we age, too. Studies show that older adults' muscle protein building peaks 3 to 6 hours after eating, compared to just 1 to 2 hours in younger people. This slower extended response actually works perfectly with how beans digest. They provide a steady, sustained release of amino acids that matches our body's extended muscle building window beautifully. The scientific world has been turning upside down lately, and the research on plant proteins is leading the charge. A massive review published in 2023 looked at 13 different randomized controlled trials involving over 800 participants, all over 60 years old. The results were absolutely stunning. Plant protein interventions showed positive effects on lean muscle mass over time, with no significant differences compared to animal protein controls. But here's where it gets even more exciting. When participants combined their plant protein intake with resistance exercise, the results were particularly impressive. We're talking about significant muscle mass gains that matched or exceeded what researchers typically see with animal protein. One study that really caught my attention followed 37 older vegetarians who consumed 18 grams of mung bean protein daily for 8 weeks. These people weren't following any structured exercise program, just living their normal life. After 8 weeks, 45% of them gained more than 1 pound of lean body mass, compared to just 7% in the control group, who didn't get the extra protein. But wait, it gets better. Their grip strength improved by almost 3%, while the control group's strength actually declined. The researchers found that these strength improvements happened even independent of muscle mass changes, suggesting that plant proteins might enhance muscle quality through mechanisms we're just beginning to understand. In long-term care settings, the evidence is equally compelling. When 84 residents with an average age of 85 consumed 30 grams of soy protein daily for 12 weeks, they gained an average of over 3 blebs of lean mass and almost 2 leberb of what scientists call appendicular muscle mass. That's the muscle in your arms and legs that's most important for mobility and independence. Their walking speed improved while the control group continued to decline. Perhaps the most surprising finding came from a massive Chinese study of almost 5,000 adults. Those consuming the highest amounts of plant protein had significantly higher muscle mass, while animal protein consumption showed absolutely no association with muscle maintenance. This completely challenges the fundamental assumption that animal protein is somehow superior for older adults. Not all beans are created equal when it comes to building muscle. So let me introduce you to the champ. Soybeans absolutely supreme, with over 31 grams of protein per cooked cup, and the only truly complete plant protein profile you'll find. They're also the most researched, with dozens of studies confirming their effectiveness for muscle building in older adults. If you're not familiar with soybeans, you might know them better as edamame when they're young and green. You can find these in the frozen section of most grocery stores, and they make an incredibly convenient protein-rich snack. Just steam them for a few minutes, sprinkle with a little salt, and you have a perfect protein boost. Lentils earn my second place spot for very good reasons. They give you almost 18 grams of protein per. They don't require any soaking, like larger beans do, and they cook in just 20 to 30 minutes. Red lentils are particularly wonderful because they cook even faster and break down into a creamy consistency. That's perfect if you have any dental concern. Their mild flavor makes them incredibly versatile, and honestly, they're one of the easiest ways to add protein to your daily routine. Black beans and kidney beans tie for third place, each providing about 15 grams of protein per cup. I give black beans a slight edge because of their exceptional antioxidant content. Those dark pigments that give them their beautiful color are called anthocyanins, and they're powerful compounds that reduce muscle inflammation and support recovery. These beans are fantastic for batch cooking because they maintain their texture perfectly when you freeze and reheat them. Chickpeas deserve special recognition for their incredible versatility. While they're slightly lower in protein, at about 14.2 grams per cup, they can be transformed into so many different things. You can roast them for crunchy snacks, blend them into creamy hummus, or add them whole to salads and soup. Their neutral flavor and firm texture make them what I like to call the gateway bean for people who are new to plant-based proteins. Don't overlook split peas either. They provide over 16 grams of protein and cook without any soaking required. They naturally break down into a smooth, almost creamy consistency, making them perfect for those comforting soups that are easy to eat and digest. For older adults dealing with appetite issues, a warm bowl of split pea soup can deliver substantial protein in a form that's both comforting and manageable. Let me share something that might shock you about the economics of protein. Beans cost approximately 1/3 the price of animal proteins, while delivering comparable muscle-building benefits. For those of us on fixed incomes, this isn't just about nutrition anymore. This is about food security and being able to afford adequate protein without breaking the bank. A pound of dried beans costs between $1 and $2 and yields 12 to 13 servings of substantial protein. The equivalent amount of protein from chicken breast would cost you $15 to $20 over the course of a month. We're talking about savings that could literally free up hundreds of dollars for other necessities. But the benefits go far beyond your wallet. Unlike animal proteins, which can increase inflammatory markers in your body, bean consumption consistently reduces what scientists call C-reactive protein and other inflammation indicators. This matters enormously because chronic inflammation, which researchers have dubbed inflammation, directly impairs muscle protein building and accelerates muscle loss. Every single serving of beans is fighting inflammation while building muscle at the same time. The cardiovascular benefits create an even more compelling case for beans. While high animal protein intake correlates with increased heart disease risk, each daily serving of beans reduces cardiovascular disease risk. For those of us managing multiple health conditions, choosing beans over meat delivers the protein we need while supporting heart health, blood sugar control, and healthy cholesterol levels all at once. Environmental sustainability adds another dimension that many people find motivating. Bean production requires about 5 times less energy and water than equivalent animal protein. For environmentally conscious older adults, this creates a beautiful alignment between personal health and planetary health. The biggest concern I hear from people about beans is digestibility. But the science provides clear, simple solutions. Pressure cooking improves protein digestibility more than any other cooking method, breaking down those natural compounds that can cause gas while preserving all the valuable amino acids. A good pressure cooker can transform dried beans into easily digestible protein in just 10 to 40 minutes, depending on the variety. Soaking overnight is your first line of defense against digestive issues. Soak your beans in water with about a 4 teaspoons of baking soda per pound of beans, and you'll reduce those gas-producing compounds by 75 to 90%. Always discard the soaking water and rinse the beans well before cooking. This simple step eliminates most of the compounds that cause digestive discomfort. If you forget to soak your beans overnight, don't worry. The quick soak method works almost as well. Bring your beans to a boil for 2 to 3 minutes, then remove them from heat and let them stand for an hour. Drain, rinse, and proceed with cooking. Traditional cultures discovered amazing digestive aids through centuries of bean consumption. Adding digestive spices like fresh ginger, cumin, or something called acafueta during cooking significantly reduces gas production. Even something as simple as adding a bay leaf or a strip of komu seaweed to your cooking pot can help. These natural ingredients contain enzymes that break down complex sugars, making beans much gentler on aging digestive systems. The key to success is gradual introduction. Start with just 2 to 4 tablespoons of well-cooked beans daily, and increase by similar amounts each week. Your gut microbiome will adapt within 2 to 3 weeks, and most people report completely normalized digestion by week. Lentils, split peas, and mung beans tend to cause the least gas initially, making them perfect starting points for your bean journey. The beautiful thing about beans is that they deliver so much more than just protein. The synergy between all their nutrients creates what I like to think of as a perfect storm for muscle health. Take magnesium, for example. Beans provide 45 to 20 millibags per serving, and magnesium directly participates in protein building and muscle contraction. Many older adults are magnesium deficient without even knowing it, which impairs muscle function regardless of how much protein they're eating. The fiber content in beans, ranging from 6 to 15 drags per cup, feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut that produce compounds called short-chain fatty acids. These remarkable substances reduce inflammation throughout your entire body and improve insulin sensitivity, both of which are crucial for muscle protein building. Recent research has revealed something called the gut-muscle axis, showing that gut health directly influences muscle. The prebiotic effects of beans are particularly valuable for this connection. The antioxidants in beans deserve special attention too. These compounds combat the oxidative stress that accelerates muscle age. Isuki beans top the antioxidant charts, followed closely by black beans and red kidney beans. These antioxidants don't just neutralize harmful free radicals. They actually activate cellular pathways that protect the mitochondria in your muscle cell. Mitochondria are like little energy factories, and they decline with age. So protecting them is crucial for maintaining muscle function. Iron is another nutrient worth discussing. While the iron in plants doesn't absorb quite as readily as the iron from meat, you can dramatically increase absorption by eating beans with foods rich in vitamin. A simple combination like black beans with bell peppers or lentil soup with tomatoes can increase iron absorption by up to 3. Leading nutrition experts have developed some brilliant strategies for maximizing the muscle-building effects of beans. Sports nutritionist Dr. Stuart Phillips, who's done groundbreaking research on protein and aging, recommends distributing protein throughout the day rather than trying to get it all at once. He suggests about 0.4 drags of protein per kilogram of body weight at each meal. For someone weighing about 150, registered dietitians who specialize in nutrition for older adults often recommend what they call the plate method. Fill 1/4 of your plate with beans or other legumes, 1/4 with whole grains like brown rice or quinoa,
and half with colorful vegetables. This naturally creates complete proteins, while providing the full spectrum of nutrients that support muscle health. Exercise physiologists have discovered some fascinating insights about timing. Consuming a bean-based meal 2 to 3 hours before resistance training provides sustained energy for your workout. Eating within 2 hours after exercise maximizes muscle protein building. The combination of resistance training and adequate plant protein intake shows what scientists call synergistic effects. That means the combination is more powerful than either strategy alone. The consensus among all these experts is absolutely clear. Beans can meet older adults' protein needs when consumed strategically. The keys are adequate total daily intake, which is 1.2 to 1.6. Pressure cooking stands out as the absolute best preparation method for older adults. Beyond improving digestibility, pressure cooking softens beans to an easily chewable consistency, while reducing cooking time by about. Modern electric pressure cookers eliminate any intimidation factor because they have preset programs for different bean varieties. Just add beans, water, press a button and walk away. Batch cooking will absolutely transform your meal preparation routine. Cook 2 to 3 pounds of mixed beans once a week. Portion them into freezer-safe containers and create what I like to call your instant protein bank. Frozen cooked beans maintain their nutritional value for up to 6 months, and you can add them directly to soups, stews, grain bowls, or salads. Having cooked beans ready to go removes the biggest barrier to regular consumption. Sprouting is a technique that deserves more attention because it's so simple, yet so beneficial. Sprouted mung beans and lentils increase their protein content by 4 to 38%, while improving digestibility by 20%. The sprouting process couldn't be easier. Soak your beans overnight, drain them, then rinse them twice daily for 2 to 5 days until small tails appear. Sprouted beans cook much faster and cause virtually no digestive issues. For those dealing with limited energy or mobility issues, canned beans provide wonderful convenience without sacrificing too much nutrition. Choose low-sodium varieties whenever possible. And here's a tip most people don't know. Don't rinse away that thick liquid in the can. It's called aquafaba, and it contains valuable proteins. It can naturally thicken soups and stews while adding extra nutrition. While canned beans are slightly lower in some nutrients compared to home-cooked ones, they still deliver substantial muscle-building benefits. Let me tell you about Beverly Kelly, whose story proves it's absolutely never too late to make powerful changes in your health. At age 80, Beverly decided to adopt a plant-based diet, rich in beans and other legumes. Within months, she had lost 14 pounds of abdominal fat, while reporting dramatically increased energy levels. She says, and I quote, "I stay active until late evening now, and need less sleep." Her transformation resonates with so many people because she didn't make this change out of illness or desperation. She simply wanted to optimize her health and discovered what was possible. Research backs up these individual success stories beautifully. The famous Nurses' Health Study followed 85,000 women over 60 for years and found that higher plant protein intake correlated with reduced frailty risk, while animal protein showed the opposite effect. Women consuming the most plant protein maintained their independence and mobility significantly longer than those relying primarily on animal proteins. Community programs demonstrate that this works on a population level. The Seniors Farmers Market Nutrition Program provides vouchers specifically for beans and fresh produce. When older adults have access to affordable plant proteins, they naturally increased their consumption with consistently positive results. The world of senior athletics tells another compelling story. More and more older athletes are following plant-based diets and reporting improved recovery times and sustained performance. The growing community of plant-based senior athletes challenges every assumption about protein needs, with many thriving on bean-centered diets well into their 80s. Let me address the biggest myth. head on because it's keeping too many people from discovering the power of plant proteins. The idea that plant proteins are somehow incomplete or inferior is simply not true. Every single plant on Earth contains all 20 amino acids. That's the same genetic code used throughout all of nature. The whole concept of incomplete plant proteins came from studies done on rats back in 1914, and it has been thoroughly debunked by modern science. The American Heart Association states clearly that plant proteins can provide all the essential amino acids our bodies need. When you eat a varied diet with different plant proteins throughout the day, you automatically get everything your muscles need to thrive. Another myth that needs to die is the idea that older adults must rely primarily on animal protein. Multiple recent studies now show that plant protein consumption correlates more strongly with maintained muscle mass in older adults than animal protein. The Spanish pre-dimed study of almost 3,000 older adults found that vegetable protein intake was the strongest predictor of good nutritional status and physical function. Concerns about digestibility, while having some basis in reality, are completely overblown. Yes, raw plant proteins digest at 70 to 90% efficiency, compared to 95 to 99% for animal proteins. But proper cooking and food combining easily overcome this small difference. More importantly, when your protein intake is adequate, that 10 to 20% variance becomes completely irrelevant. And beans' dramatically lower cost makes adequate intake much more achievable for most people. The belief that expensive supplements are necessary represents marketing more than science. Whole food beans provide not just protein, but the complete package of muscle-up supporting nutrients. Studies comparing whole food plant proteins to isolated supplements show equivalent or superior outcomes, likely because of the beautiful synergistic effects of beans' complete nutrient profile. Success starts with smart shopping that sets you up for long-term success. Buy dried beans in bulk for maximum savings and store them in airtight containers where they'll keep for years. Start building your bean collection with the most versatile option. Red lentils for quick weekend night meals, black beans for hearty batch cooking, and chickpeas for snacking and versatility. Invest in a good pressure cooker if you don't already have one. It will pay for itself many times over in convenience and improved digestibility. Your first week should focus on gentle introduction to let your digestive system adapt. Add just 1/4 cup of well-cooked lentils to your usual lunch soup. By week 2, include half a cup of beans with your dinner. Week 3 is when you bring beans to breakfast. Try mashing white beans into a spread for your morning toast, or add black beans to scrambled eggs for a protein powerhouse start to your day. This gradual approach allows your digestive system to adapt while building sustainable new habits. Meal planning becomes incredibly simple once you have beans as your foundation. Sunday batch cooking of 2 to 3 variety provides protein for the entire week. I like to portion cooked beans into ice cube trays for perfect single servings that I can pop out as needed. Create different flavor profiles to keep things interesting. Italian-style white beans with fresh rosemary and garlic, Mexican-inspired black beans with cumin and lime, or Indian-spiced lentils with turmeric and ginger. This variety prevents boredom while ensuring you get diverse nutrients. For optimal muscle-building results, aim for 1.2 to 1.66 g of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. If you weigh 154 lbs, that's about 70, so you'd need 84 to 112 g of protein total. Plan for beans to provide 30 to 50 g of this across your 3 main meals. Combine beans with whole grains at each meal to create complete proteins. Add vitamin C-rich foods like bell peppers, tomatoes, or citrus to enhance iron absorption. Include small amounts of dairy or eggs, if you choose, as they can boost the leucine content and enhance muscle protein building. Remember to stay hydrated, especially as you increase your fiber intake from beans. Aim for at least 8 glasses of water daily. Consider adding some gentle resistance exercise to your routine, even if it's just body weight exercises or resistance bands. The combination of adequate plant protein and regular resistance activity creates a powerful synergy for muscle building and maintenance. Here's what I want you to take away from everything we've discussed today. The evidence is absolutely overwhelming that beans can effectively support muscle building and maintenance in adults over. They provide high-quality protein at a price that won't break your budget while delivering anti-inflammatory compounds, essential minerals, and heart-healthy fiber that animal proteins simply cannot match. With proper preparation methods and strategic consumption throughout your day, beans offer a sustainable, health-promoting path to maintaining your strength and independence throughout all the decades ahead. You don't need expensive supplements. You don't need complicated meal plans. You need beans prepared thoughtfully and eaten consistently. Your muscles, your wallet, and your overall health will thank you for making this simple but powerful change. The question isn't whether beans can help you build and maintain muscle. The question is, are you ready to give them the chance they deserve?